Okay, sorry for that. Assalamualaikum and hello to our honorable speakers, Ms. Karen Tan and Ms. Rosaline Aju, lecturers and my fellow friends. My name is Nur Farhana and I'm the president for this webinar. Alongside with me is my vice president, Najia Amani. We will be your MCs throughout this webinar. Before we begin, here's a gentle and friendly reminder to keep your microphones off throughout this session to avoid any interruptions. Thank you everyone for your kind cooperation. For your information, this session will be recorded and currently available live on YouTube. If you know any friends who would be interested in this talk, do share the link, which you can find in the chat box with them. We are happy to inform that all participants present here today will be awarded with an e-certificate. So do stay till the very end of the event to receive your e-certificate. Alright, so I will pass on to Najiha for to introduce our first speaker of the day. Over to you, Najiha.
Hi, I would like to introduce to you our first speaker, which is Miss Rosaline Aju. I would like to share to you a little bit about Miss Rosaline's interesting background. Miss Rosaline Aju used to work in the preschool setting for more than 15 years. She would mold new preschool teachers and contributed to learning programs and curriculum back in year 2000 when I was not even born yet. Can you imagine that, guys? So Miss Rosaline is currently an early childhood lecturer and program leader at Help University. She is also currently pursuing her doctorate in philosophy in education. That is so amazing. So now, without further ado, let's put our hands together as we welcome Miss Rosaline Aju to share her insights and experience with us. Over to you, Miss Rosaline.
Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. Very nice introductions. Thank you very much. The old lady here, like what you said, actually, I have been working with children for a very long time, and I enjoy my work. I like my work. I love my work, and I will continue working with children. Yeah. So today, I have this opportunity, yeah, to share my experience. Yeah. Hope that everybody can join in and give in your input as well. Yeah. Looking forward for your feedback. Thank you. Shall I start?
Yeah, okay. Rosaline can
Everybody's
start.
ready? Yeah. Okay, that's great. So, the purpose for us to conduct these sessions, yeah, actually, we wanted to share what we have learned and what we have gone through, and found that actually career, professionalism, and also ethic is very, very important. Yeah, no matter which fields that you're going into, especially in early childhood, this is the most important part. That before you join an industry, yeah, you have to ask yourself, are you suitable for this job or not? Are you born with caring children, or can it be, yeah, obtained or learned from somewhere else? Okay. Yeah. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. To start with this topic, actually, I would like to ask you questions. Anyone can teach young children. Is that a true or is that a false? Yeah. The next one is, what are the quality of a good early childhood educator? Yeah. Who is that can teach children? Is that anybody can teach, or there must be somebody with certain quality? Yeah. So to continue with this, I have created a Mentimeter. So I hope that you can join in the Mentimeter. Yeah. And also there's another QR code. You just join in so that you can see how, I want to see how is your response. Yeah. You can scan and log in and try to answer the questions that I have there. Okay. Do you manage to go in? I think I need to share from here, is it, so that you can see the screen?
You need to share the Mentimeter from your side.
Yeah.
So I
So
stop share first, so you can
yes,
share,
please.
okay?
So I can share. Okay. Can you see this now? The first question is, anyone can teach young children, true or false? If my mother, my grandmother, they will say, yeah, anybody can teach. That's how I brought you up. Yeah. So is that true? The share market is going up. I can see. Well, the share market for false is very high, and truth as well. Yeah, is coming up. Just give them a few more minutes, okay? Okay, I think I should just stop here. Majority, I can see that more than 50%, yeah, is saying that it's a false.
Rosalind, you're muted.
Okay, I should just continue then. Look at this chart here. Everybody's agreed that you should have certain quality before that you can teach children, right? Just imagine if I'm sending my child, my baby, to a center that the teachers is not qualified, is not trained, or they just taking a job, yeah. Will you send your baby there to let them take care of your babies? What will happen to your child? Will he abuse my child? Was he taken care of? Is he fed properly? Is he cleaned up properly? Then you will have a lot of worries, right? Okay, let me just unshare this. Sharon, Karen, can you please continue with the next slide?
Okay.
Okay, here you can see that there's a lot of abuse cases happening. And have you seen the newspaper lately, or even though last year? Yeah, there's 3,872 cases child abuse reported. Yeah, this is a big number. This is only from 2020. This is reported. Imagine that those that is not reported. You see, on February 5th, 2021, a mother and stepfather of a 7 years old boy who drowned in a water tap at his house. Yeah. So it's a very sad news. How can you do that? Yeah, 7 years old is a big boy. Why the boy drown himself? Or is that being pushed? Who did that? Yeah. Furthermore, these are the mother, the stepfather. In January 2019, abused 9-month-old baby. The baby, come on, baby, they can't even talk. It's just about to learn how to talk, how to walk. Who are they going to protect them if you are not? Yeah. So who can they depend on? In December 4th, 2020, 500, 543 children's, yeah, married record. Children's got married. Hello, they can't even take care of themselves. Now they're going to get married and then they become teen mother. And then how are they going to teach their children? Are they able to do that? They themselves is still children. Yeah, just imagine this is happening in Malaysia. It's not in overseas or any country. It's not that we are so backdate that we are not educated. We are also educated. But how come this kind of report showed? Yeah, what does this mean? What does this lead us to? What kind of teachers that we have in the school right now? Yeah, imagine now lockdown, everybody's staying at home. Okay, usually the abuse cases will happen when someone that they know very closely. Yeah, and you've been locked down for 1 month, right? Since the MCO and now extended furthermore. Imagine the child that at home. What will happen to them? Who are the abuser? They are staying with the abuser. Where can they go? There's no school. If there's a school, they still can go to the school to hide or to get protection. Yeah, the teachers still can help them. But yet, what can you do? Yeah. Just think back, okay? Next slide, please, Karen. Okay. Here, I'll just leave you thinking, and Miss Karen will take over then.
Okay, hi everybody. So I'm Karen. Y'all can call me Karen. Najiha, are you supposed to introduce me first? Do you want to introduce me first?
Yes, I leave it to Farhana.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Farhana will introduce me first. Farhana, you're muted.
Ay, aku pula.
Farhana is still muted.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that. So for some reason I couldn't unmute. All right. So our next speaker is Miss Karen Tan, right? Okay, so Miss Karen is an early childhood practitioner with more than 10 years of experience in this field. She is also the founder of My Playpen Childcare Center, which has been around for more than a decade now. For your information, Miss Karen holds a dual degree in economics and law and is currently completing her master's in early childhood education with University Malaya. But that is not all. Miss Karen is currently the Vice President of the Early Childhood Care and Education Council Malaysia, ECCE Council, with her passion that lies in inclusive ECCE and seeking ways to increase professionalism. I'm certain we all gain wonderful insights from her today. So without further ado, let's meet this amazing person from the ECCE Council, Miss Karen Tan. Now over to you, Miss Karen.
Hi everybody. Thank you. We have 173 participants today. It's really, really overwhelming, but it's very good to see all of you all here today. So just to add on to what Farhana, thank you for the wonderful introduction. And just like Miss Rosaline earlier on, what she said, I'm actually very, very passionate in the field of early childhood. And the reason why I left my earlier profession in banking and finance, and I did for at one moment wanted to actually do wanted to venture into the career of law, but I think my passion for early childhood actually made me stay in this particular profession for a long time. And subsequent to that, it was also, I feel that the industry actually needs a lot of help in terms of like professionalism and upgrading. There's a lot of room to actually improve in Malaysia, especially in terms of early childhood, which is why I spent the last more than 10 years in this particular industry, and it still keeps me going strong, and I wake up looking forward coming to work every day. And I hope all of you all here today, after you hear what I have to say about this industry, I hope you'll still be interested to be in this industry, because there are certain expectations that we have, and there are certain realities in the industry that I think all of us should know before we actually step foot within this industry. Okay, so let me share the PowerPoint again, and let's listen from me and discuss. Okay, so joining the early childhood industry, the expectation versus reality. So there are two things that I'm going to talk to you today, okay? Other than showing you what are the realities of the industry and what are the challenges and skills that are actually being sought of. But I want to know, those of you who are actually in college right now, who are actually pursuing a diploma or degree, or actually doing like the part-time studies, just type into the chat box and tell me, what are your expectations when you actually come in and take this particular program? I'm very sure a lot of you all are here to take the program with the expectation to come out and graduate and work in the industry. What are your expectations right now? Just quickly type it in the chat box and let me have a look at what are your expectations. To be a teacher, okay. Somebody say, okay, to save children. To be a teacher. Maybe some of you can elaborate a little bit more. Like, what do you think you'll be doing inside as a teacher? What are you going to do? Are you just going to teach, or what? Okay. Expect that you need to teach children only. help children do well, to make a change in children's life, to take care of children more easier than to teach children and let them have a good education, to impart good values, yes. To foster children's love for learning, creative teaching, yes. To understand the industry requirement in this situation of the pandemic. I'm going to note some of your answers down. Okay, to be a facilitator, to teach, okay. Influence, care, okay. To be children, to be a role model. Okay, so these are all these words that I've been seeing going around here. It's actually things like to impart values, to facilitate, to teach, to influence, to care, to be a role model. That is actually really most of our main, that's our main task as actually an early childhood educator, being in this particular industry. Miss Rosalind earlier on asked us, can anyone teach ECCE? Can anyone be in the field of can anyone teach? Of course, like all the old people will tell you, yeah, anyone can teach children, anyone can take care of children. But I'll tell you what's the distinguished difference between us as an ECC educator and everybody else out there, okay? As an ECC educator, right, when we are with the children, when we are dealing with the children, whether we are helping them to eat or whether we are formally teaching in the classroom setting, right? The difference we have is actually when we are doing all these things, we are doing with an intention to impart certain skills and certain values. You see, if you have a maid to do like feed the child, right? They will just do the task, feed the child. But as an early childhood educator, when you're doing that, you're doing it with the knowledge of like, you know, I'm doing this so that the child can learn coordination skills. The child will learn table manners. The child has the right nutrition. You have that particular knowledge. That's the difference of you being an early childhood educator. Okay, so these are all the things you have. But of course, a lot of us also have the expectations that when we go in, we are only going to go and teach. Teach. Most of us say we are going to be a teacher. We're going to teach. But as an early childhood educator, let me tell you this. Your job as a teacher is just not a teacher. It's more than a teacher. It's actually more, I think it's the most difficult teaching job as compared to being a lecturer or being a high school teacher, because there's so much that is being involved, and I will show it to you. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. So here are the realities, okay? You must remember when you come out and work, right? And when you teach, right? You're not only teaching the children, because a lot of your answers that I said, a lot of y'all say to lend a listening ear to the child, to help save the children, to impart values to the children. But the child alone is actually a part of the community, actually. So as an ECC educator, you're actually a part of this community. You are not only in the life of a child, but you're also in the lives of your parents. You're also responsible to your employer, okay, and the community itself. And there are also other realities that you have to look into, which are things like your career, your job mobility, okay, the earnings that you'll get as an educator, okay. So let's look into a few of the realities, okay, as an early childhood educator. And bear in mind, this is not to discourage you, it's just for you all to know, and there are ways around this that can actually make you really, you know, come out and shine as an early childhood educator. So a few of the realities that I've put in here in my 12 years experience as a ECC educator is the three main realities that you'll be actually facing when you come out is actually the children itself, okay? They can be very energy draining. At the same time, they give you a lot of happiness, okay? And you are not only attending to their cognitive needs, you know, you're also attending to their caregiving needs. Because when you talk about early childhood, some of you all will be working with children as young as a month old, and it can go up all the way to 7 or 8 years old. Okay, and when the younger the child is, the more caregiving needs is going to take place, and the caregiving part aspect is going to take up a lot of energy. Okay, so it's just not about the executing your fun and interesting and creative lesson plans, because on top of doing that lesson plans, you have to think of the cleaning up, preparing before the lesson plans, and also things like managing the children, before you start all the lesson plans, and all their routine activities, such as some schools will require you to shower them, some schools will require you to do a lot of other things. And these children, they come in all forms and shapes, and some of them have very difficult behaviors. And you even have children that are special needs, which you will need to attend to. So these are the realities that will come with the job. And your client is not only the child, your client is also the parents, okay? And parents these days, they are very demanding. Generally, parents are actually very, very nice. But because these days, especially when we talk about parents being in the urban setting, which I'm sure most of you all are going to come out and work, maybe in urban setting areas. Some of y'all will probably go back to smaller towns and work. But urban areas, the parents are very demanding. And that's because they are very, very well informed, okay? And many times you will feel underappreciated when you're in a job, okay? There are ways to go over this, but you can only go over this if you uphold yourself as a professional in ECCE, if you have enough knowledge in the field that you're in, okay? And then, of course, you have worries about your job mobility as well, because we all know, realistically, early childhood, in this part of the world especially, we are not appreciated as much as our colleagues maybe in the first world country like Finland. There's still a lot of awareness, okay? So in terms of career development and development opportunities, there are, but we have to be able to seek for it, okay? And in terms of pay scale, it may not be as high as your friends who probably graduate and come out as an investment banker, for instance, or they're working in a professional setting. But there are ways that you can actually climb and reach the higher pay scales, okay? So these are the realities that you'll be facing. I'll be showing some of the pictures and I'll be sharing some of the experience from my part as well. But I just want you to know, and perhaps later you can ask me some more questions and then we can go on about this, okay? So this is normally the expectations when you all come out. It's so nice, okay? And this is always the fun part of the job, okay? Where, I can sit here, have snacks. And this picture on the right here is actually the Segi students coming. They're doing the art and craft with the children. It's actually very fun, okay? And you have nice settings as well, okay? Nice, bright, cheerful settings. But in reality, right, some of y'all may come up and not all of y'all will be working in a very modern early childhood centers. Some may even need you to help them. And there are many centers that are like that, because you should not limit yourself as a professional in early childhood to only help children whose parents have means. There are places where it's very rural and your role is very, very much needed over there. Not only to educate the children, but also to educate the parents as well. Okay, and in my 12 years, I've also worked in actually rural schools in Thailand to actually help them to develop the curriculum, work with the teachers, and also educate the parents. So you must remember, your role is not just about educating the children. You have to work with the parents as well. Okay, and one of the things that you really, really need as an early childhood educator is you need to form a trust with the parents so that you are able to work well with the children. And this is actually embedded in the code of ethics later, which I will be talking to you about, okay, as an early child educator. So you must remember, your scope is not just limited to providing that education, fun lesson plan to the child, but you have to remember that you are responsible to the parents as well. Because if you can leverage on that cooperation with the parents, only then you'll be very, very successful, whatever that you're helping the child to do. Okay. So these are the one of the typical things we see ourselves doing as an early childhood educator. But I can also show you some of the things that is not normal for an early childhood educator. There are some days that this is my school principal actually. She had to pull out a child's teeth. So I'll just let you watch this video. Sorry, here. Right. Can you please sit down? Not yet, not yet.
Because we are going to put his teeth. Oh, yeah, can be so scary. Practice.
Yes, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. Now you put it.
You see from here. See from here already. Okay, see blood coming out already. Blood coming out. 1, 2, 3.
Yay, good job. Okay, so it's not something that you should be doing every day. You won't expect this, if you're just thinking that my job going in as a teacher, then you won't expect to do all these things. But there are a lot of things that you have to do. If you're with a very big established center, right, then maybe it's your role is more limited to teaching, maybe some paperwork. But if you're working with the smaller centers and younger children, you have a lot part of the caregiving role, okay? But it doesn't make you a glorified maid or anything like that. Like I said earlier on, there's a distinct difference between being an ECCE educator and just being a helper, like a domestic maid and things like that. Because when you're an ECCE educator, you're actually imparting certain values, certain skills to the children. So these are just some of the things that you do on a daily basis, okay? And some of the bad days also. These are one of the days when the children are crying. I had to go and chase the child under the chair, bring the child out, comfort the child. Okay, this is another school in rural Thailand I was working with, and the teacher had okay, and then this school, it's in a hillside part of Thailand, in northeastern side nearing to Burma. And they only have, I think, 5 early childhood educators graduated with degree in early childhood. They're actually very, very efficient teachers. But because it's so far, they can't, it's so far and the place is so rural, they can't afford a lot of teachers. So these 5 teachers, they come in and they teach and they do most of the work, okay? So they have about 110, 120 children with them, 5 teachers managing them, okay? And the teachers are in charge. They have a cook and they also have a cleaner, but the teachers are in charge of giving out the lunches and then sending the children to and fro. So the teachers will come early in the morning, drive the truck. This is not the safest means of transportation, but the teachers will drive the truck, pick up the children, bring them to school, and then send the children back home as well. So it's more than a teacher's job. And that's because the teachers here, they really advocate, they really tell the parents what are the importance of the early, what's the importance of having the children learn, before the age of 5. Because we all know, I don't have to tell all of you all know in terms of the theories of early childhood, how the early years are very, very important to the child's brain development. So these are the things that the children, and this is reality, in terms of you coming into the early childhood industry, okay? Okay, yeah, and also bringing the children to toilet, you have to do that as well, I have encountered some teachers who come in for interview and ask me if I have a kaka or helper in my school to bring the children to toilet. And I said, no, I don't. I said, the teachers will have to help. Because there's a reason why I want the teachers to do it. Because as a teacher, if you're doing it, you're actually teaching it. If I have the kaka to do, the kaka will just carry the kid, put on the chair, put on the toilet seat, and then probably wear the pants back for the child and then send the child off. And there's no value in learning in terms of that. But as a teacher, there's a difference there. The teacher here is probably saying, okay, after you pee, you're going to have to flush and things like that. And then you see the child being independent. There's a difference there. So these are the things that you have to do. So you cannot think that, I come out with a degree in early childhood and I should only be teaching and preparing lesson plans and preparing materials. I should not be doing this. But you must remember, your work there is also to impart values, life lessons to these young children good habits to these young children, and it can only be done through you as an early child educator, because you have that knowledge and awareness of what you should be imparting to the child. Okay, so I'm going to show you, in reality, this is taken from George Street. Okay, when you come out as a preschool teacher, early childhood in Malaysia, on average, we're talking about average, okay, most people, okay, you can see that this is actually what are they are earning in the particular industry as a fresh grad, okay? But not everybody is earning this particular salary. Of course, it varies from school to schools. Some schools are bigger schools, some schools are rural schools, smaller schools, and things like that. But I also know that there are many people who can earn double or triple this particular salary. And you know what's the distinct difference when I meet all these people? It's because they are not average. They are better. They are good quality ECCE educators. They just don't do the minimal. And why they don't do the minimal is because they don't think their job, they don't think of themselves as holding into the job as I'm just an ECCE teacher lah. I'm just a preschool teacher lah. You know, they think and they hold themselves up as a professional. They add value to themselves. You know, they have that spirit of growth mentality. You know, they continue learning. So when they speak to parents, they have a certain sense of authority over, you know, the things that they say. They are very knowledgeable They're very knowledgeable people. They read up. They know what's new in the industry. They understand the industry well. You know, they take time to take up all the little courses. And these are the people that I feel that in the industry, right, they are the people that they're able to earn more. Of course, when you're going to come out as a fresh grad, you have to eat the humble pie lah. You have to do everything. In fact, I would advise that for most of y'all coming out, it's okay to actually be a teaching assistant first, to actually understand, you know, how to deal with the children, how to actually work with the parents, how to speak to the parents. So having that soft skills, you know, having the flexibility, having the people skills, being dynamic is very important. And these are the three things that I really feel that you as an early childhood educator really need. You need to be flexible. You know, you need to be able to adapt to the job. You need to be dynamic. You need to have that growth mindset. You need to always have that will to continue to learn, because education is not stagnant. You know, every few years, there's always something new. There's always there's always some new kind of terms coming out, new kind of like curriculums coming out. You should be on top of it, okay? And you have to have very high people skills, because you're not only relating to the children, you have to relate to your employer, you have to relate to the parents, and then you have to relate to the community as well, okay? So what we have this is that we also cover this in the code of ethics, okay? And what is actually the code of ethics, okay? The code of ethics, the ECCE Council has actually come up with the code of ethics. And this code of ethics actually covers your conduct as a professional ECCE, okay? So it's the word professional here is very, very important, because many a times I've come across so many ECCE educators, and I find that they themselves don't regard themselves as a professional. When you don't regard yourself as a professional, do you think the parents will regard yourself as a professional? You know, sometimes there are many times also in my 10 years of service, I've seen how teachers are being talked down by parents. Parents will say that you should be doing this. You must do this. But hey, you know, we are the early childhood educators. We are the teachers. Why are the parents telling us what to do when we have actually learned all the theories and pedagogies in teaching the child and things like that? Shouldn't the parents be also listening to us? Okay. And this is why you have to be very professional when you talk to the parents. You have to have that knowledge. Okay. So in your code of ethics here, the council has the code of ethics, the document, and it's broken into 8 parts, which consists of the children, the families, the communities, your colleagues, employers, you yourself as a professional, practicum students, and of course the conduct of research. Because like I said earlier on, being an ECCE professional, you cannot be stagnant. You should look into improving yourself, just like Miss Rosalie now, she's going on to take a PhD. And when I started off, to be honest, when I started off coming into the industry, I did not have the relevant certificates, because in Malaysia, all you need to do is either have like a certificate in Permata and then you can start off. But within 1 year, I realized that I was really, really lacking in terms of knowledge. Because parents are so knowledgeable nowadays, they can easily talk down to you, which is why I went on to take up different certificates in like different things like play therapy and things like that. And then I eventually pursued my master's in early childhood, on top of all the other certificates in terms of like ECCE as well. And then right now also, I've actually completed my master's and I'm just waiting for the thesis to go through. Segi College recently has offered the Hey teaching certificate. I've also taken the liberty to actually like sign myself up for that, just to keep myself up to up to date with what is actually current in the early childhood education market right now. So these are the things that you can actually do for yourself to actually upgrade your skills, to upgrade your professionalism in the particular industry. So these are the 8 areas that you should have, you should follow in terms of like conduct. So when we talk about children in early childhood, is that we always remember that as an ECC educator, when you talk about being professional, you always have to act in the best interest of the children. Sometimes we do have nasty parents, and we feel that with the nasty parents, sometimes we cannot hide our feelings, and sometimes we just want to be nasty to their child. But as an ECC educator, you always have to feel that the child is a priority, and you have to disregard all that particular feelings. You always have to respect. You have to advocate for the rights of the child. Okay, you have to recognize that they're unique. Every child can learn. Oh, somebody has to mute their mic. And no discrimination. And then when you come to working with families, which is the second element of your code of conduct, is that you need to respect the uniqueness of each family. And in terms of like, when you're working, especially in Malaysia and Singapore, we live in a very multicultural society. So in terms of that, you have to try to learn and understand the communities that you're living in. Why certain parents require their child to do certain things. So you have to understand that from that particular perspective. And when you advise them as an ECC educator, you have to come to their level and talk to them. Because otherwise you can't really thumb them down as well. So your people skill here has to be really, really good when it comes to dealing with parents as well, you see. And you have to remember, with the children that you're working with, you cannot be very emotionally invested as a professional, because I know it happens, and I've seen some of my teachers being very emotionally invested. They because the children are here with us for some of them half day, 4 or 5 hours, but some up to like 10 hours, right? And sometimes you love the child so much and you feel like this is important for the child. But the parents are their parents, and sometimes the parents have choices for their children as well. And you as a professional can only advise on a professional level. And when the parents have certain choices, you have to learn how to respect their choices. It's just like when you go and see a doctor, the doctor can advise you, you take this medication, you go for this operation, this might be the best option and things like that. But at the end of the day, the doctor will always have to respect the patient's choice. So sometimes I deal with parents who are children of special needs. And I will tell them, your child needs this. I would recommend you to do this and things like that. And they have their limitations for whatever reasons. So we help out as much as we can. But if they have decided to go otherwise or seek other kind of help, there are some things that, we will have to step back, as much as we have advised and advocated to them. So we have to manage our emotional investment in that terms as well as a professional. And it's very important when you're working with parents to develop a sense of mutual trust. So when you're working as an early child professional, always build that relationship with the parents, because only through that particular relationship and through the trust that you have with the parents, then the parents are able to respect you. Otherwise, it's more like they will tell you what they want all the time, okay? But when they have the trust, they can see you as a professional. They understand where you're coming from, because you're coming from for the benefit and the welfare of the child, and they will want to work together with you. So having that mutual trust is important. So, and understanding the community, like I say, it's very important to know the community that you're working with. And in the community, you have to advocate that child and family friendly value, okay? Just like in the town of Reggio Emilia, where you can see all the people in Reggio Emilia working towards the benefit of the child. If you are able to do that, if you're able to cultivate that, that would be good. Like over here in my area, I have the OUG market around here, and we bring the children to the market, and we try to get the market people to understand, like, the reasons why we are doing this, and they actually help and they participate. The fishmonger will come and they see the value, in showing things, in working together with a particular center. So that's the community, and you use your knowledge to share with the community, to talk about the importance of, having you to do all these things, in the community. And we have the elements of colleague in the code of ethics, where you have to respect your colleagues, understand the strengths and the weaknesses of your colleagues, build collaborative relationships with your employers. Very, very important. You always uphold their reputation of your organization. And with social media these days, it's so easy to just, sometimes when you're just not happy with the employers, you just go and vent it out on social media. It doesn't show you as a professional, actually. You remember, the industry in Malaysia is not very big. So if you don't take care of yourself as a professional, somehow or rather, another person in that industry will catch wind about it, and they will not want to hire you because they feel that you don't have the credibility. So it is very important for you to maintain your image, because as an ECC educator, right, this is your brand. You yourself is your brand, okay? So you have to take good care. So you always have to adhere to the center's policy. You have to support your workplace policy. If you happen to come to a center and you don't like the value of the particular center, then I suggest you just leave the center. Okay, maybe you can have a chat with the boss and things like that. And if it doesn't work, just leave the center and find a better place for yourself, rather than make a scene and, like, get your name tarnished in the particular industry. So remember, guarding yourself as a professional is very, very important. And of course, with yourself as being a professional, you should always base your work on theories, content knowledge, practice, and evidence. That is why reading, keeping yourself updated, that is very, very important, okay? That's what distinguishes us from the auntie, the nanny, or whoever that they say can take care and teach children, okay? Because whatever we say and whatever that comes out from our mouth is evidence-based, is knowledge-based, is best practice-based, okay? It's not just saying that, hey, my mother said, the child have to be like this. No, it's not like that, okay? It's what you've learned, okay? And very important here is for you, if you want to look into building your career path, remember I was talking about career path, is you have to seek and you have to build collaborative and professional relationships. Okay, if it was not because of the council that I've discovered like 10 years ago, I don't think I will actually know what I'm supposed to do in a particular industry. 10 years ago, when the ECCE Council was launched, that time by Rosma, our ex-prime minister's wife and things like that, I went to the conference and I actually saw the pioneers of the industry. So I remember I saw Dr. Chiam, I saw Mrs. Patricia Tay, I saw Caroline over there, and I was like, who are these people? I need to know them. I need to learn something from them. And I eventually tried to join all the persatuans and things like that, so that I know that the people who are in the industry for a very long time. And from there, I tried to like talk to them and mingle with them to get some kind of like knowledge and experience to know what is actually going on within the industry. And it actually certainly give me, it certainly helped in terms of my career. Okay. And you in terms of practicum students here, these practicum students here is as your profession, you as a professional, next time when you come out as a professional, you will have to support the practicum students, okay? Provide opportunities for the practicum students, okay? Mentor new early childhood professionals, okay? And conduct of research is, of course, your ethics in terms of research, which I will not elaborate more here because we're running short of time, okay? So that is in terms of like your code of conduct and your code of ethics. And I feel like if you come out into this particular industry, and if you have this code of ethics to follow, I feel that in terms of your career progression, you can progress so much better. Knowing the realities and things like that. If you have this value to yourself, you definitely will grow. There's definitely opportunities for you. Okay, so I'll leave the next few slides to Rosalind, which I think I left her very, very little time. Rosalind, I'm so sorry.
It's okay because what you're sharing actually is very down to earth and very sincere. Now, it's really very truth. Okay, so just let me add on to what she have covered about the values of the teachers. Yeah, the code of ethics. The code of ethics actually is just like your Bible. You follow the guideline given, and then you will eventually rebranding yourself. Why do we have to do rebranding in the industry? Because that is how you can be excel from there. Okay, let me share you with this reality, like what Miss Karen just said. You go to the kindergarten, right? You will see some teacher is so popular that we call that 5-star teacher. And then on the other hand, the teachers that that sitting at the corner, nobody talk to her, eating by herself and doing her own work, 1-star teacher. Why is that a difference between the 5 stars and 1-star? What makes them different? How do you rebrand yourself? Especially during the Teachers' Day, I like to share with you. During Teachers' Day, you will see that, wow, the famous popular teachers, they will have handful of presents and gifts and flowers. Sometimes you even need helper, yeah, to carry all the gifts loaded on your car on the Teachers' Day. Yeah. Why is that teacher so popular? What makes her so different from the rest? So when you ask yourself, what have you done over the year to deserve all this? Yeah. And also this kind of a glory moment, yeah, you can enjoy this in the kindergarten. Especially the children are so sincere and so innocent that they will express if they liked you. Yeah, for example, when you go on to the supermarket, yeah, for those that teachers here, when the children saw you, they will call you from across the department, Miss Rosalind, hello, Miss Rosalind. End up the whole entire mall know that, oh, you are the kindergarten teacher. But to think of it, actually that is a- an an acknowledgement, yeah, from the children, that they appreciate you, that they remember you. And then they come and say, Miss Rosalind, do you still remember me? Last time I was in your class. Da, 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 da. End up you look at the man, uh, yeah, which cohort, which year? You are taller than me now. Yeah. So I was there from 20 years ago. Oh my God, 20 years ago, how old am I? Yeah. So this is the things that unexpected that you will receive 20 years later sometime. Yeah, the gifts come late, but it means a lot to you. So this reflect back how you carry yourself. Your code of ethics is very important. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And now, what can you do? How can you do? Yeah, to fork yourself into a new career. How are you going to go along to become that 5 stars teacher? Yeah. Can I have the next slide, please, Karen? Okay, here what you can do. Step one, developing your career pathway. How do you do that? So you should have short-term planning and also long-term planning. Short-term planning that covers that I must complete my diploma in early childhood for 2 years, and then another 2 years I
For what?
continue with my another 2 years I'll continue with my bachelor in early childhood again, and another 2 years I'll be taking 2 years off to work in the industry to get the feel and something. So you can make your planning a short-term planning. On the other hand, you can also make your long-term planning. For example, within the 5 years, I must achieve a master degree, or I must have experience in certain field or a skill. Yeah. So that is your long-term planning. So that prepare you to the industry. Okay. Step two, You have to build your relationship with the industry. Like what Miss Karen says that she went on, she get to know people, she get to join some club, yeah, some council or even a voluntary work. Why is she doing that? Actually, she is advertising herself, yeah, promoting herself. If you are a good teacher but nobody knows you how good you are, it's just within the box, nobody knows, yeah. And then your services cannot be contributed to the ECCE world, industry. So you must be out there, right, actively participating club or joining any organization. Like even though you join a simple Sunday church, yeah, you conduct a Sunday school with the children, this is also a very good exposure for you. Yeah, you can also join the community school around your area. Maybe some Buddhism's relative school or something like that, or night school tuition classes that help anybody, or even volunteer yourself in voluntary work. Yeah, uh, that is very good exposure. Yeah, for me, I have volunteered myself with the refugee camp. It's a very good experience for me. So in my path of 15 years, 20 years of teaching young children, I was thinking that teaching young children is just go there, sing song, having fun and all that. But when I volunteered myself in this refugees camp that I'm working for these Rohingyas children, they are totally different. They are different in a way that are they are they really children? You know, they are very aggressive. There's a lot of fight in the school, a lot of fight in the classroom. You enter the class, you can see that the pencil and the ruler are flying in front of you, and then they are just boxing each other. How are you going to stop that? So the first thing that the school teacher do is protect ourselves. If not, then you get killed. Yeah. So that kind of environment. So when you volunteer into these kind of organizations, you are also learning. Yeah, beside what you can read from the books or watch in the YouTube, this is reality. How are you going to handle? Because this kind of situation will happen, might happen, or maybe in some years it will happen, just like what Miss Karen showed, the plugging teeth. That is very good experience, and I think the child will keep this history moment throughout his life. Yeah, so if you can make a change, yeah, in the children's life just with a small action like that, that means a lot. That's why that it's good that you expose yourself to the world that outside from your scope of study, yeah, from your school or college, to venture around. Yeah, you try to help around, then you'll find out that it's very meaningful what you're doing. It's not just because of the money, but for those people that receive your help, they will voice out for you. Yeah, so and so is doing this, so and so is doing this. So eventually you are being sell. Yeah, your name has been advertised, and people will start calling you. Would you like to come and work for me, and so on. Yeah, that's be great. Okay, and then the third one will be building professionals connection. Yeah, how will you do that? You can join any of the center. Yeah, you can also work in a different field. Yeah, because ECCE services is not just confined to nursery or kindergarten. You can go more than that. Yeah, you can be someone that is the president of the clubs, or yeah, or someone that run a rep dinner for children's. Yeah, and then you can also get into different organization. Like for example, you can work in Johnson & Johnson to educate the people how they can come up with the products that's appropriate for children. Or you can work in a Minecraft, yeah, company. uh, Teach them how to design a curriculums, a game that can teach children. Yeah, so there's a lot of connections and professional connections that you can join. Yeah, and also don't forget that you can join ECC service like special needs uh, club. Yeah, you can also contribute your services there. You can join ECC council, of course. That's where that you can get your scope broadened. Yeah, then we can share a lot of expertise. We can also share a lot of our knowledge. Yeah, and at the same time also you will gain a lot. Yeah. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? So since I'm talking about the ECC Council, let me just introduce what council member will offer. Okay, we have two type of council member. One is the student member, another one is the ordinary membership. So student member, you need to pay only for 50 ringgit throughout your student livelihood. Yeah, as long that you are still a student in ECCE, you are entitled for the student memberships. So what are the benefit that you will get? You will receive the article, yeah, and the update from the ECC council member, council president desk, and also you get free discount for all the seminar or workshop, and you can also join in and work together with our teams of member to conduct workshop or conduct a field trip or conduct any of the events. Yeah, so you can also attend events free, yeah, for those that volunteer students especially. Yeah, so all the students here, we welcome you and we look forward that you can join and then be part of our family. So what can you do with the, if you graduated, you finish your student, no more, yeah, you don't want to study anymore, you want to venture into the field. So these studentships member fees, the 50 ringgit, can be converted into the ordinary memberships. Yeah, so you can carry this 50 ringgit and transfer to ordinary member, but ordinary member will be 100 ringgit per year. What benefits you will get is you will get the update, yeah, on the government policies and regulations. So for example, like now SOP keep on changing and changing. Which one is the latest one? Who can you ask? Please, you can ask ECC Council. Another one is the update on the ECC, such as the world trade, the innovative practices and the research finding and all that. So a lot of informations, because we have a very big pool of expertise in the organizations. So we share a lot of knowledge. Yeah, so you can get the latest information. On top of that, also the continued professional development. You got a lot of workshop, you got a lot of webinar, you got a lot of activities and events that going on that will build on, yeah, to your knowledge and also to your skills. Okay, educational visits, yeah, we have also a very successful visit that we went to Guangzhou, yeah, and also there's one that went to Reggio Emilia as well, yeah, and also belonging to the body of professional early childhood educations and have an opportunity to voice. You have a lot of idea, you've been in the industry, of course you should have a voice, a say in this industry. What is the best for the children? What is the best for the teacher? What is the best for the industry? So this is a very good head start for you to uh, start your journey into the ECC industry. Okay, the next one, we are almost time, and I think we should keep this as a Q&A. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask us.
You can also type it into the chat box and then we'll be more than happy to answer. Whether it's about membership, whether it's about your career pathway, whether it's about the realities or something that you want to voice out, we're more than happy to answer you right now. Just one more thing I want to add on to what Miss Rosalind was saying, that getting a mentor at this point of your life is actually very, very important. Because when you come out as an early childhood educator or when you're towards your final year, it's actually good if you have someone to look up to. So, you know, if you join something like the ECC Council or Persatuan Pengasuh Berdaftar MAPIS, these are a few of the early childhood related persatuan. And we are from the ECC Council. Of course, we want you to join us, the ECC Council as well. You can find a lot of mentors over there, which you can, you know, seek for advices. And, you know, when the job comes with the challenges, and sometimes you can speak to them and it helps. It really helps. In my 10 years, I had so many mentors to help me, you know, go through the hurdles. Okay, so any questions? Let's see on the chat box. Let me stop share first. Okay. Okay, please contact Ms. Michelle Huan on the ECC Council membership. Ms. Michelle will collect your application forms and pass to our principals for approval before submission to the council. And yeah, most of the SEGI lecturers from the college are council members, yes. What is the average salary for a 10 years experience ECCE teacher? Okay, this one, 10 years experience, you can look at maybe about, depending on how big of a school you're working with. If you're working in an international school, you can look about, I mean, 6,000 to 8,000 ringgit. If you're working for smaller schools, then maybe about to 5,000 ringgit for smaller schools, if you're looking at that. But we are talking in Malaysia, okay? If you are moving out of Malaysia and you're working in Singapore, then that could be even more, okay? Also looking at your scope of a job, okay? If you're just a teacher, if you're a teacher, yeah, you're looking about 4 or 5. But if you are not only a teacher, because normally 10 years normally you can become more than a teacher already. You can become a center supervisor, you can become a curriculum planner. There's a lot of things you can do when you're 10 years of experience. Yeah. Then you can look into like earning.
Yeah, I asked her to contact you.
Any more questions? Do you have a soft copy of the Code of Ethics for Teachers? Okay, fresh grad salary. Okay, the soft copy for the Code of Conduct. We actually have hard copy. I don't think we actually give out the soft copy. The one I have is a soft copy. It's actually an unfinished copy. I don't know if the council is going to give out a hard copy. This was produced last year, so I can't answer you whether we have a soft copy. But hard copy, definitely yes, we have that. We have a copy in the public library, and I understand that Segi College has a few copies in their libraries as well. Okay. What about fresh grad salary? Okay, just now I posted to you is the average that you see. Fresh grad as in like diploma or degree. Let's say diploma lah. Diploma we can look about. Let's talk about like a small school and things like that. You can look about maybe 2008 to 2002 when you first start out first. I mean, in this economic climate and things like that. Bigger schools may give you more. If you get international school, you can probably start at 2,500 ringgit. Degree, yeah, you still start about 2,000 plus, 2005, 2000 to 2005, about there. In early childhood, yes. Yes, as an assistant teacher, yes, correct. As an assistant teacher, yeah. But how fast you move from an assistant teacher to teacher depends on your skill. I've seen some very, very good teachers, they move within 6 months from assistant teacher to teacher because they can really show their potential. So we've seen that. At the end of the day is how much you're able to contribute, how much the parents like you. You know, when you work in a small center, right, it's very easy to value you. When you're in the big center, maybe they have like the tiers and the grades, but still, you know, if you are very popular, like, you know, like Miss Rosalind said, you're the 5-star teacher, if you can make yourself that kind of you can add value to yourself, you know, engage with the parents and things like that, then yes, it's very easy for you to climb because you're natural in the job, you know. But if you're just doing the bare minimal, okay lah, prepare lesson plan lah, okay, just bare minimal lah. I've seen teachers just doing bare minimal. Sometimes I also don't know why they're in the industry. Then maybe your climb is slower.
Can we have the last question now? Okay, that's the last one.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Karen and Miss Rosaline, for the information that you have shared with us. So with today, our speaker that has covered in this session was expectations versus reality of joining the ECC industry, ethics and professionalism within the industry, as well as insights on forging your career pathway in the ECCE industry. These sets of knowledge will be very highly essential for us as students, as well as early childhood and professionals to be. And in fact, even those of you here who are maybe considering embarking on this ECCE journey. So I would like to pass back to Najiha to end this session.
All right. Thank you very much to Miss Karen, Miss Rosaline for the bucket loads and loads and loads of knowledge for us today. And so we don't have any much more time for the last question, right? Or Miss Karen or Miss Rosaline, you want any last questions from them?
The last question, I think somebody is asking if an assistant teacher around 10 years experience and same salary, how we can solve the problem with his motivation. Actually, I say it's only two reasons, right? It's one, either your employer look at you and feel that you don't contribute much in terms of that 10 years. That's why you're not getting any increment, or in terms of career movement, you're not. Or it's yourself. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, if you're working in a particular center and you're feeling like you're not going anywhere, is the problem you, or is the problem the center? You have to look at these kind of things, when you're making your career decision. If you feel you've been proactive, you've been taking courses and things like that, and there's limited career growth in the particular center or in the particular school, then move lah. Nobody's stopping you from moving, right? You make the decision. That's why having that plan is so important. Of course, when you start off, you don't have a lot of when you start off, you're fresh, you see. So you have to take in the humble pie. You just work first. But after about 2 or 3 years being in service, you already know where's your value, where's your stand. Oh, in the last 3 years, I've taken these extra courses. I know the parents love me, and things like that. Okay, is my employer appreciating me? If my employer is not appreciating me, then I'll go and look for another employer that appreciates me. At the end of the day, right, whether you succeed a lot or a little bit or don't succeed at all, the fault is yours. You choose whether how far you want to climb. You choose. Okay, if you choose to not take that bold path to step out because you're so worried of everything and you just want to stay in the particular center and receive that same, that stagnant, no movement in terms of your career, that's your choice, what? Correct or not? But if you're happy with the particular center, because maybe perhaps it offers you time flexibility, salary may not be much, you have a lot of time flexibility, you feel like it's easy to work with your colleagues and things like that, and you're happy working there, your choice, you choose over there. It's up to you. It's how your career, how you want to forge your career, is up to you to forge it. Okay, nobody can tell you what's the best way to do it. But if your aim is, I want to make something more for myself, then you look for avenues to do that. Plan. I always will tell the students, plan. 5-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan for yourself. Okay, I hope that helps.
Yeah, can I also add in?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Karen. Sorry.
Can I also add in? For 10 years, if you're working there for 10 years as assistant teacher, I would like to ask you this question. If you are the principal, how high the salary do you want to give it to her? If every year you've been increasing, how much can you increase? There must be a maximum. Yeah. So if you're working in these kind of conditions, you're already to the top of the maximums. I think if you think that you wanted to change, then this is the time for you to venture out of your comfort zone. Yeah, maybe you can explore to another organizations, or you can even take course and develop yourself further. Yeah, so maybe you can be a better principal rather than you wanted to fight for a class teacher. Yeah, so it's time for you to think, yeah, out of the box. Okay.
Okay, so before we end, join the ECCE Council.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Valentine and Ms. Aju, for the extra information that you have given. So this has been a spectacular session on behalf of the organizing committee as well as my fellow classmates. I would like to thank both of our fantastic speakers, Ms. Karen as well as Ms. Rosalind, for sharing such wonderful knowledge with us, which I'm certain that we will all put to good use in our careers.
Oh, and thank you for the tart. Thank you for the tart. You all sent me the tart. That was very nice. I had it with my family. Delicious.
Oh, that's good to know. All right, so I would also like to thank everyone for joining us and making today an unforgettable one.
Okay,
So
so
back to you, Najia.
before we bid our goodbyes, kindly scan the QR code or follow the link here to claim your e-certificate. You will receive your e-certificate within 10 working days. So do look out for your inbox. And guys, before we end this, maybe I can give you 1 minute to claim your e-certificate first. Please scan the QR code. Okay, so before we end this, I would like to have everyone to turn on your camera and get ready for a group photo. Is it okay for our speakers to have a group photo first?
Sure.
Okay,
All right, that's good.
let's come together and open our camera and show our gummy smiles. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. We have 4 slides.
Jiha, maybe you want
Second
to
page.
count 1, 2, 3 and ask everybody to hold.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you count, okay? We will go on your cue.
Okay. Let's start with the first slide first. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the next one. 1, 2, 3. The next one also. Oh, there's so many. 1, 2, 3. Benson, did you get it all?
Some not yet open the camera.
Oh, I think it's okay.
You're very shy.
It's okay. I hope we can get everyone in the camera ready. Okay, I think that's all.
All right. My
Or
cheeks hurt from smiling too much.
yes, I put too much gummy smiles. Okay, so I think once again, thank you everyone for being present here today. Thank you very much for spending your time. Our speakers, thank you very much today. Please stay safe and stay home, guys. 1, 2. Have a
Have a
nice
nice,
week ahead.
have a nice
Bye.
week ahead.
Yes, it's just
Thank you.
Monday.
Bye.
Yes.
Okay, bye-bye.
Stay
Thank you very much,
safe.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.